Obviously, coming off Saturday's win at Minnesota, coming back and practicing last night, really, so I went through the film Saturday night and yesterday morning. Proud of our guys. One heck of a game. I thought watching it live, it was a pretty entertaining game if you're a fan. A little more stressful on the coaches, but a terrific game as you watch it the second time. Tough shots by both teams made. Play after play. Terrific environment, and obviously for us to get in there in that type of an environment with the team that's much improved this year in Minnesota, to be able to do that in a hostile environment and find a way to come out on top was a good test for our guys. Obviously, the past week has tested us in multiple ways, and I think it's helped us grow and calloused us and toughened us a little bit, so prepare us for what's coming here as we have Penn State in here tomorrow night. So, you guys have any questions?
Greg, I know Vito only scored 2 points in that game, but he looked to be pretty active on the glass, and I know he wasn't 100%. Did you get what you had hoped out of him, and do you expect that he will physically be able to do a little bit more this week?
Yeah, I think he's gotten better every day. He's felt a little better. At least that's what he tells me. He's feeling better. So I really thought Friday he would not play on Saturday, but he responded pretty well to the stuff that the trainers had him doing on Friday, and felt good Saturday in the shoot around, and they tested him again and gave him the green light to go. So I thought he'd be somewhat limited. I was more concerned about change of direction and transitioning up and down the floor than anything maybe in the half court. But he stayed within himself. I think did a good job there. I think lineups allowed us to play a little smaller at times and use Nigel more at the 4. So a combination of when I did take him out, how long I kept him out, and with the leg, I was worried about it stiffening up and tightening up on him. But he got loose there again at half and did a good job. But then obviously down the stretch, Jordan Hill I thought was terrific for us in what he did. So I was going to go with that lineup, especially when we were, it's back and forth and we couldn't get any separation. That group was pretty comfortable out there together, and we were going to go with that route.
Jim? Greg, with the overtime game on Saturday and the relatively short turnaround, how much you take that into account as you prepare for Penn State?
Yeah, we've taken it very seriously into account. We did practice last night, but the heavier minute guys, it was pretty light and not a lot of contact possessions. So we'll go back into it a little more today, but more verbalization in terms of us talking about Penn State, specifically for those guys that had heavy minutes. And they understand it. That's the nice thing about having that experience. They don't need as much maybe on the floor as what younger guys do. So it gave us a chance to not only give the younger guys some reps against the Penn State actions and that scout, but also then we took that group, those 12 non-starters, and did a 10-minute scrimmage again last night. So it was, I think, beneficial for both. It gave those heavy minute guys a little rest, and it continues to give the others more experience.
Jeff? Greg, you've talked about Jordan Hill before, about spending a lot of time on the scout team, but still being quick mentally to handle when you need him. But what does he give you defensively? He had 2 sequences there against Minnesota, one end of regulation where the kid hit the shot, one end of overtime where he did not. What do you see from him defensively?
Well, I think the one thing is that he hasn't worried about, and this is really doesn't encompass just defense, and I pointed this out to the team last night, that when he wasn't playing as much as maybe he wanted to, and he was on the scout team consistently, that he didn't whine or complain or worry about that. He just kept trying to get better and do the best he could did there on the scout team. And I think that keeping that mindset has helped him, and grow through that. And then when his opportunity came, he did a very good job with it. And that was prior to even Minnesota. I thought he did play pretty well against Ohio State. Then he played pretty well against Michigan. And then it's been building. He's taken advantage of opportunities. So defensively, I thought he did a pretty good job. Even the shot Springs hit to tie the game, other than he got clipped a little bit at the screen when they did a little rub off the second the staggered. Springs was the first screener in it, and then he came back off the single screen. He got bumped a little bit there. That put him a little bit behind it, but Springs still had to reroute the ball and swing around him and make a tough shot. So that one you probably, other than not letting Springs catch it at all, he's going to get a shot off. But then they play at the end of end of overtime. I thought he played as well as you could play. You're going to have to force a heave, and that's what he did. And really, I thought really for being in that environment, not always being in the mix, He did a terrific job of, aside from maybe the travel at the end of regulation when he got coming too fast, he did a really good job of helping us, in the position where Vito wasn't as comfortable going, or I wasn't as comfortable with that. Plus, I liked the matchup with him on the floor. I liked experience, and I liked his size maybe a little bit more than what I saw from Dimitrik. So that's why I went with that route.
You mentioned Minnesota being much improved. It seems like Penn State is as well. What have you seen from them that have made them make that jump?
Well, the, two true freshmen in Stevens and Carr that are very good players. Having watched them in AAU, knew that they were going to immediately help them. And then the kid that's redshirted, Watkins, he's helped, so he's a younger player in the program too. And the other guys have gotten better. I think overall talent level is up. They got some guys, Shep Garner, that had some experience from the previous years. And, they're playing, I think, better together. They don't depend on, in the past they've always depended on one guy to get 25, 30 points. And now I think they got 5 guys almost averaging in double figures. So they've dispersed that pretty well and share the ball pretty well. Obviously still continue to play hard as they always have. So just improved all the way around. Better players and playing well together.